On the story now, an elderly woman has died and one person sustained injuries during a storm surge that caused high tides in wilderness in the Garden Route. The George Municipality closed all beaches in the area yesterday when high waves battered several beaches, including Victoria Bay and Herolds Bay. Other seaside towns like Plettenberg Bay, Knysna and Mossel Bay were also affected, including some beaches in Cape Town. NSRI spokesperson Craig Lambinon joins us now on the line just to give us an update on the situation in the affected areas. Craig, thank you so much for your time. I believe, of course, you are assessing the area at the moment. Just give us the very latest in terms of what you can see.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nachi. Thank you very much. Yeah, at this stage, there's nothing really too much happening today at this stage, but we are bracing ourselves for the high tide, which will sort of be started to grow already now, and it's going to last probably until into the early part of the evening, probably till about 7, 8 p.m. this evening, and then there will most likely be some storm surges related to that spring high tide, which will probably peak somewhere between 4 and 5 p.m. depending where around the coast you are living. And it's obviously a case of we've asked people. Fortunately, we appreciate immensely the massive media response to this, alerting people of the dangers, and we are hoping that people aren't taking unnecessary risks. There are understandably some extreme sports enthusiasts who might make use of this rough seas to practice their sports, but we have continued to encourage them not to put themselves in unnecessary danger.
Craig, just listening to some of the people describing what transpired yesterday and also looking at the footage, looking at the extent of the damage, it does look like, of course, that it talks to the sheer extent and power of these waves. Just talk to us about how people can protect themselves during this time, particularly as you mentioned that you are expecting more strong high tide around about 3 o'clock this afternoon.
So we're simply saying to people, unless you absolutely have to be along the coastline, preferably stay clear, be cautious. Everybody's aware now of what is going on. It appears to be a confluence of circumstances that has brought this together in the way that it has happened, with the cold fronts that engulfed the country through the South African Weather Service's alerts that were put out already from about midweek to late last week. And it's simply a case of everybody being cautious. We know people want to go and have a look at what it looks like, but preferably stay as far away as possible. Don't put yourself in any unnecessary danger.
Craig, of course, we're reporting an elderly woman having died from, her injuries given the high tides in the wilderness in the Garden Route, and one person sustaining injuries. Do we know the circumstances around their incidents? Where were they at the time? Do we know any further details around these two people?
So, look, it's a difficult situation because it may be, and we're not really getting too involved in this, in the aftermath of this. Understandably, our thoughts and condolences are with the family who have lost their loved one in a very in this tragedy, and however may be leaning in the direction of a natural death, but associated with an injury that was caused, we believe, by a water surging through a parking lot. So there were 2 people were injured. Both were taken to hospital, but it may have developed into a natural death post that incident, and that's why we don't want to get involved in the speculation at this stage. Our only priority is to embrace the family who have lost their loved one in our thoughts and with our condolences. And I think we can all agree that is the correct way forward, rather than us delving too deeply into how did this actually happen, because like I say, it's starting to lean in the direction of it may have been a natural death.
Yeah. Should somebody find themselves in trouble this afternoon, as we are expecting more of this kind of weather conditions, what can they do, Craig, just to quickly get themselves to safety?
So we're hoping that that they don't get themselves into that difficulty. For starters, there are obviously still beaches along the coastline, especially along the Southern Cape coastline, that we believe the municipality has still closed. Keep a lookout for the municipal coastal warnings, as well as the South African Weather Service weather alerts for this afternoon and into tomorrow and into the new week. Understandably, NSRI, the emergency services, the police dive units, we're all on high alert to respond to anything. The NSRI's emergency number 087 094 9774. And that alerts everybody at the same time. If you call that number, it is an emergency-only number. And then obviously disaster risk management, together with municipal authorities, are starting to track and investigate what needs to urgently be repaired and where the most damage has been caused. But look, at the end of the day, weather is weather, and the sea is the sea. It all came together yesterday. We're hoping it's not going to be as bad today, and let's all hold thumbs for this afternoon and be safe.
Craig, thank you so much for your time, and of course that update. Craig Lambinon there joining us there. He's from the NSRI and he's a spokesperson there, of course, warning people to stay away from those areas that have been mentioned due to the high tide in both the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape.